Photographer Pony, RomanceWriter1 here. Here I am with another review that I have planned for this month. Today, I am going to review A Canterlot Wedding. This is one of my favorite finales along with Shadowplay and School Rays. Both I might do a separate review on, especially Shadowplay, but I don't know if I'll collab with anyone on them. And this finale is set in all of Canterlot, my hometown. The finale starts with the main six all enjoying a nice little picnic outside. Wow, if only I was into picnics. Maybe Sonic and I could have one at some point when I'm not too busy. Spark runs up to them, saying there is urgent but exciting news. Wait, doesn't urgent usually mean it's an emergency or something? It's a letter from Princess Celestia saying that a royal wedding is going on and it is for Twilight's brother! Well, I do wish they had been mentioned in previous episodes before, but we had no hints that she had a sibling. All we seemed to know about until this episode was that she had two parents. And as episodes went on, you could argue that around the time she applied for Princess Celestia's school for gifted unicorns, Shining Armor went to be a guard or something. We don't know the age difference between the two, but I don't think the show will explain it because it's not really that important. Twilight is upset that Shining Armor never told her that he was getting married, instead Celestia did it. And yeah, I'd be upset if that happened to me. If a close friend of mine or a family member never told me that they were getting married, sure, I'd be upset because I want to support them. But if it was someone I didn't like or had a history with, I would be upset as well, and I'd very likely confront them about it, but that's never a good idea. I just don't want someone to be hurt by an ex-boyfriend I had or anyone in my family that disowned me. Then we get this episode's first song, BBBFF, which is short for Big Brother Best Friend Forever. And it's a nice charming song with a nice catchy beat to match how good of a relationship the siblings have. And if you watch episode 2 of Courtland Chronicles, this song was parodied in the backstory part of the episode. Not the best parody I did, but hey, I'm not the best with songs. When Twilight mentions that her brother is the captain of the Royal Guard, Rarity of course is really impressed and excited about that. Well, I'd be the same if a friend or family member knew a celebrity I liked. Actually, that happened before when my mom found out a former rugby player that lived near my village visited my college. After the intro, the main six are on the train to Canterlot and they go through a force field and there are lots of guards. Of course, when a royal wedding goes on, there has to be a lot of security going on, so nothing bad happens like an attempted assassination or a complete massacre. The guards let them through. Twilight is as usual upset. Well, she has been since the trip. Her friends, of course, being very worried about her. Shining Armor is excited to see Twilight, but of course she confronts him on why he never told her in person. And once again, I don't blame her. I would be upset if I wasn't told in person. Shining explains that the reason he didn't was because Princess Celestia needed him to make a major increase in security because a threat has been made to Canterlot. I also wish why there are so many guards is because it's a royal wedding and it's only that there's a threat. Anyway, moving on before ranting happens. Twilight then starts to be all sad and asks him if she isn't important enough for him that he didn't tell her about the wedding. Oh, thank goodness Twilight doesn't use tears to guilt trip someone or manipulate someone or blackmail them. Shining Armor assures her that because she's his little sister, she's important to him. He also does the playful thing we do to get a friend to try something, like a game. You know, like the way Smolder did to Ocellus when she was needing to face her fear, and it got her back to normal. All I know is that she saw herself as Queen Chrysalis, so I guess fear of turning evil, perhaps? Wow, sounds like Daughter of Discord all of a sudden. Anyway, Shining tells Twilight she could be his best mare, which she is, of course, honored to do. Wait, isn't it supposed to be best stallion, not best mare? Would have been nice if Nightlight was there as the best stallion, cause, you know, we don't see the parents often. Heck, we don't even see them at the end of the finale at the reception. Where the f*** were they to not show up at their own son's wedding? Twilight seems to have cheered up, but one question she has is, who is Shining marrying? Shining is marrying a pony named Miimore Cadenza, who we best know as Cadence. We get a flashback to Twilight's childhood where Cadence was her foal sitter, and she's also an alicorn. A few people had a problem with her being an alicorn, but I don't. I know one thing I really want to see is Cadence's life before she was married, which I don't think we'll ever see, considering Cadence doesn't appear very much. We even see one scene where Cadence sees a couple fighting and she uses a sort of love spell and it stops them. Huh, I wish I had a spell like that to use on Sonic or others I ship. Nah, maybe that's a bit too far for me.
What'd you say about putting a spell on me?
Oh, I put a spell on you.
Yes, you've put a spell on me.
Yes, indeed, Wait! How did you get in my room? Also, how were you able to hear? I thought my walls were supposed to be fixed to be a little more soundproof.
Magic? And yeah, your walls are kind of thin.
Oh yeah, you have magic. And damn it, looks like I'll try and get my walls fixed. I think I'll ask Brett about that.
So, should I get going?
Yeah, because this isn't a collab and I really shouldn't delay on finishing this review.
Alright, so when do we do the re-review of The Perfect Pair?
When I'm not too busy. Now best you get going before I poof you out of here myself. Anyway, back to the episode. Twilight is all excited that Shining is marrying Cadence. And Cadence comes along, which Twilight does their secret hoof shake, but Cadence doesn't seem to recognize it, or even recognize Twilight, which has her confused. I'm surprised Shining didn't try anything like get them to talk and all, but that's something that's never bothered me. Shining Armor says he needs to be back at his post, and Cadence will be checking on everyone to see how the wedding plans are going. He expresses how excited both of them are for the wedding, and Cadence totally doesn't look suspicious here. I'm surprised they didn't have her eyes glow or something, but it's good they took it out, or else, yeah, it's obvious something is wrong. No, wait, it's obvious Cadence does seem evil here, even if this sort of story has been done before, but I haven't seen it much, but I've seen it in books, except a lot darker. But I do like it doesn't make it obvious why she's like that. I wish a lot of unseen villains were like that in all shows and films. Later on, Twilight is sitting all grumpy and with a notepad and pencil as Applejack is getting all the food and all prepared. And hey look, it's Apple Fritter! I know it's not important, but yay! Apple family relative in the background of an episode, even though a few more would in other episodes, but yay! So Applejack makes a cake and my gosh, it looks so delicious. Wow, and I thought the treats in A Perfect Pair got me super hungry. Jeez, why do shows I watch make me hungry when they show delicious foods and all? An ice sculpture in 10 seconds flat. Also, apple fritter in the background again. And some delicious apple fritters. Speaking of which, there's Well, sorry about that. Wonder who shot that dart at me. Most likely Danger. Anyway, back to the review. Cadence comes in, looking tired and just not very interested. Then again, when you're planning a big event, you are going to sound tired as a lot of stuff is happening at once, and it is pretty tiring. Like when my mom and I moved, I was always extremely tired that I had trouble staying awake as I had to carry stuff that would hurt my arms, legs, and back. Heck, that even happened when I moved into my university dorm. And Lee gasped! She is green magic! I smell an imposter! Because the real Cadence is blue magic, not green. Well, before we find the twist, you can argue that maybe she did some magic trick and her magic turned green. So kind of like what happened to Rarity's magic aura in Inspiration Manifestation, which will come in 2 seasons later. The only difference is the fake Cadence doesn't go completely insane like Rarity did, her eyes haven't started to glow a bright green, and her aura isn't like a thick aura like Rarity's in that episode. I'm surprised no pony has been accusing me of being an imposter because of my magic aura. At the same time, it'd be a bit racist since I'm not the only pony with a green magic aura. What the? Another one of my clones again? God damn it, I thought I destroyed the cloning machine long ago. Also, clone, stop appearing so much.
It just feels so good to be out and causing a lot of scares and mischief. Just be glad that bitch NP Flames hasn't popped up.
Who are you calling a bitch, you obvious recolor?
Hey, not my fault the pony that made me into colors like this. If he wanted me to take over the world, maybe he should have made me look a little more normal so I wouldn't look suspicious. Also, why you gotta be such a literal hothead all the damn time? I know you came from a pendant, but seriously, what was just...
Sweet Luna, this is a lot worse than when I need to handle my scout race. Alright. Alright, I'm calm. Let's get back to the review. Anyway, Twilight, do something! You know Cadence's magic aura is blue, not green. Why doesn't she do something? Heck, all throughout the episode until the second part, she doesn't seem to figure it out that it's an imposter, not the real one. You'd think Twilight, the smartest of the main 6, well, at least before she got her wings. Yeah, I said it. I like Twilight, but when she got her wings and after the defeat of T-Rex, I stopped liking her, especially in the episode No Second Francis, which made me officially not like her. but that's a video I'll never do as there'll be too much hate. Only thing I'll say is the reason Rarity is best boy to me is she at least hasn't gotten worse as seasons progressed, but Twilight, that sadly has for me, and well, I can't seem to relate to Twilight. Anyway, this moment in the episode is one that especially bothered me. Heck, it bothers me in a later scene which we'll get to. I get she doesn't want to say it in front of her friends because they're helping out with the wedding. Twilight doesn't even seem afraid to see why Keynes is like this, so you'd think she'd tell everyone right away, including any of her friends near her or when they're alone. I get maybe she thinks they won't listen if she does tell them and they find her crazy. Keynes tastes one of the apple fritters and obviously fakes that she finds it delicious. Ugh, you know when someone acts like that, it's obviously fake. Unless they're a good actor, which I guess she is considering Applejack didn't seem to sense that it was fake. And she throws the fruits into the bin that Applejack gave to her earlier, even if Keynes was obviously not interested in taking them in the first place. Then Twilight goes to Rarity, who is making the wedding dress, expressing that Keynes has changed a lot. Well, Twilight, I'm sorry to say, but that's what happens. Heck, I had friends from when I was a kid, and they changed a whole lot. A few actually sided with bullies in high school and not once helped me. I really hope Twilight was taught that friends from your childhood can really change even for the worse. Keynes comes in, and once again she acts all uninterested. Once again, sorting out a big event can be exhausting that you just sound so unamused. We're shown the dress, and it looks really beautiful. Heck, I probably want a dress like that. Maybe a few of the OCs I created in Colton Chronicles could have one. Rarity is as usual proud of what she has made, but Keynes wants it to have more beading and a longer train, which Rarity keeps her cool and writes it down. And Keynes wants the bridesmaids' dresses to be a different color. Not sure if she means all have the same color or different colors, but I don't think they look too bad, even if I'm not a fashion expert. The bridesmaids, Louder Heartstrings, Twinkle Shine, and Minuet, aka Colgate, love the dress designs, but as soon as they say so, Keynes gives them a glare that they all look pretty frightened. I also kinda wished all three tried to talk to Twilight in this episode, since they knew each other's foes, but I'm glad Amending Fences did that and gave continuity to this episode. We didn't see Lyra in Amending Fences, but it was mentioned she lives in Ponyville, so it's possible she just didn't visit. The next scene has Pinkie Pie, who is setting up the activities for the wedding. And while the games do seem like something for a fool, it's Pinkie Pie. What do you expect? Keynes thinks everything seems like something for a 6-year-old's birthday party, and as usual, Pinkie is oblivious that it's more of an insult than a compliment. Well, I'd be like Keynes if something seemed childish at a party of mine. Nighttime comes, and the friends are having some drinks at a restaurant in town. Too bad it isn't the Fatalian restaurant I go to at times. Cambriere is such a nice waiter to talk to. That stallion deserves a raise. Twilight comes up and says that Keynes is the worst bride to be, and her friends look at her with worry and surprise. Spike puts in a slightly funny moment by imitating Keynes' voice while holding a model of her that has to be on the cake. Rarity says Keynes is an absolute gem, but Twilight says that she was so demanding. And Rarity makes a good point here. Why wouldn't Keynes be demanding the best on her wedding day? See, Twilight? Rarity knows what she's talking about, and she's kind of a romantic expert. Twilight complains to Applejack about when Keynes threw the apple fritters in the bin, but Applejack brushes it off, that she was just sparing her feelings. You'd think Applejack would be more offended rather than brushing it off, considering that some pony threw her treats away! I'll not get angry on it. Remember, they are helping a wedding, and I guess they're just trying to be positive. I want to say a word, but I don't want to say it. Gives me not so good memories. Fluttershy says that Keynes yelled at one of her birds in the bird choir, which Twilight immediately tries to point out that it's rude. Twilight, you might want to celebrate after you get the answers, not right now. And it was all because the bird was singing off key. Still doesn't give the excuse for Keynes to do that. Like, my roommates sing off key a lot when they randomly sing, and I don't come up to them and tell them to shut up or saying they're singing so badly. Twilight tries to talk to Pinkie Pie, but she's busy playing with those doll things with Spike. Then again, she is childish, so not really a big deal, and it's not that annoying. Again, Spike is also a kid. Twilight tries with Rainbow Dash, but Rainbow claims she's been too busy preparing for a sonic rainboom to notice Keynes' attitude, which really annoys Twilight. Rarity tries to reassure Twilight that Keynes could be negative because she's getting married and the wedding is being set up. And once again, that is a good point. Setting up big events are exhausting and nerves are to be expected. I get it, none of the main 6 have ever gotten married or any special sub points, which I wish they do already. It's been about 9 f***ing seasons. Heck, Flash Stranger and Twilight's relationship isn't even considered canon. That's a ship I wish did go canon. Calm down, Romance. It's a show on friendship, not based on the romantic genre. Maybe into it, but not all shows revolve around that very often, cause kids are too young for romantic stuff and all. Twilight has had enough that she doesn't think Shining Armor should be marrying Cadence, claiming she's an awful pony. Hey, Twilight, listen to Rarity. She made all the good points on why Cadence's behavior was negative. Maybe this didn't bother me the first time, but after watching the episode again, I can see myself in Twilight's shoes, or whose for that matter, with something like this, except I've never flat out said it to someone. There have been times I notice a couple, and if I think one of them is pretty rude and has done insults more than once, or behind someone's back, even their special sun ponies, I would get pretty angry about it and just want to say, yeah, sorry dude, but you need to find someone who's a lot nicer and doesn't complain about you so damn much and about the smallest thing. I never say it apart from other friends, because if a lot remember, if someone does the same to me, I will get very defensive. Yeah, that's a problem I have and maybe shouldn't respond, as sometimes it's best not to do so in certain situations, even if I'd be called a coward for it. I also don't care if I'm a coward when I'm trying to be brave. It always failed. Wow, when did this review just become so personal, or sad, or both? Anyway, Applejack asks Twilight if she thinks that she's just being a tad bit possessive of her brother. Be glad Twilight isn't being like Hanako Yamata, aka Senpai's sister in Yandere Simulator, that's meant to be a rival in the game, except Twilight just thinks Shining has a bad fiance and isn't trying to make him not get a girlfriend. Like Hanako, which is why she's a rival in a non-romantic way. She's just super clingy to her brother to the point that I think it's almost creepy. Oh sweet Luna! Why did fans ship Shining and Twilight? After mentioning that Yandere Simulator stuff, it just reminds me of all that stuff I see on my Twitter feed. It's just...
Don't worry, she's gonna be fine. She just had a minor sort of panic attack is all. Or most likely something traumatized her.
So, did she witness something that got her like that?
I hope it isn't what she is reviewing that did it.
Dude, she's reviewing a Canterlot Wedding. Of course it wouldn't traumatize her. It's her favorite genre. Oh boy.
You mean maybe?
She stumbled upon something that's too NSFW to say?
Should I say it?
No. Bad Shadow Wizard. Her channel is supposed to be PG-13.
But a few of her streams have gone a bit R-rated before.
Also, it's way too inappropriate that she'll age restrict this review. Come on, let's let her rest, and she should be back to continuing her review soon.
Apologies for that. Let's get back to the review. I think we're close to the end of the first part. Twilight denies that she's being possessive and isn't taking it out on Cadence. Yeah, sorry Twi, I've done that before. It never ends well. It ends with arguments mostly, and a stressed mood. She then tells her friends that they are so caught up with all the planning that they don't realize there shouldn't be a wedding. And knocking their drinks over. Aww, they look so delicious to have. Wonder where I can get one. The next day, Twilight goes to find Shining, who is dressed up all fancy. Twilight doesn't respond to this, and Shining knows that something is wrong with his sister. Twilight is about to explain what is wrong, but Cadence shows up and wants to speak to Shining in the next room. I sense suspicion. Cadence complains that she told Shining not to wear the suit he's wearing, and he only did so because it is his favorite uncle's. Then it sounds like a couple arguing is going to happen, but it's only stopped when Shining appears to be getting a migraine. And wow, that looks like a migraine alright. Kinda how when I get mine out of nowhere. Cadence uses a spell that makes his eyes all googly, but it seems to heal him, but his eyes are green for a little. So I guess a healing spell of some sort? Would have been cool if Sonic had that if I got a migraine. Twilight goes to warn her friends, and they're all dressed up as the bridesmaids. When Twilight asks where the other bridesmaids are, Applejack explains that Cadence would have loved for them to fill in for them since they worked very hard for the wedding. And considering this is on the day of the practice ceremony, that is highly suspicious. Also, we never get a reason why Minuet, Lyra, and Twinkleshine had left in the first place. And Twilight now says that she is officially on her own in this. The next day is the practice ceremony, and it seems to be going well. And look, here's some Rare Dash shipping! Get the fanfics done on them! Oh, wait, I don't even like Rainbow Dash. Yeah, I said it. Well, I should get out of here before they break my door down. Well, I'm out of here. Oh, how interesting. It's my hometown and where the finale is set. Kinda wish I poofed into Appaloosa and see if I ran into a close friend of mine. Oh well, might as well continue the review while I'm at it. Keynes walks down the aisle without incident, but when Shining needs the ring from his best mare, they all realize Twilight is not there. I mean, I'd likely do the same thing, but at the same time, I should at least be there and not make a scene. Twilight arrives and says she won't stand near Keynes and neither should Shining. Now, Twilight, I know you've good intentions here, but maybe wait until after the practice to do so. Keynes suggests that they ignore her, which I'll admit is pretty rude, but then again, if someone does seem crazy, you either listen to him or you don't. I usually listen to him because there have been cases where someone seems crazy, but they are telling the truth, normally when it's too late. Twilight backs her into a corner, and Keynes of course is looking pretty scared. I'd be scared if that was going on with me. Twilight gives out the accusations, which are being rude to her friends, doing something to the bridesmaids, and that she used a spell on Shining that made his eyes go all googly. And the face Twilight makes when she explains the last thing is pretty funny and cute. Keynes starts crying and asks why Twilight is doing this to her. I know it's an act, but it's a pretty damn good act. If only I was able to cry on cue. That's one of the flaws I'll have if I need to do acting in films or TV. Keynes runs off crying, and Twilight says that she's just evil instead of maybe saying she's an imposter as well, considering green magic, not blue magic like I mentioned before. Twilight seems to be proud of herself until she walks into Shining, who is very displeased. I love the shots here. They are like the ones in the song the episode had, and it's pretty creative. It's something I don't see often, except if an abuse victim was being yelled at and their memories come back to haunt them. And another funny face that involves googly eyes. Shining is not happy with his sister, and he explains that the spell was a healing spell because since he's been needing to perform the protection spell, he's been having nasty migraines. If only my healing spell would heal my migraines. It only heals on injuries, but for a limited amount, so the injury might not be fully healed, only slightly, but it sadly doesn't heal broken bones, as they take a long time to heal. Shining then explains that the reason her bridesmaids were replaced was because they only wanted to meet Canterlot royalty. When this episode came out, it was a very long time since we saw those three talk to Twilight in the very first episode of the show, so we would have been all, that does seem kinda rude. But when we get the continuity and amending fences, we're all like, oh my Celestia, that does make it more suspicious. Then Shining explains that if Keynes hasn't been on her best behavior with her friends, it's because she's so stressed that he's been busy and she has to make all the decisions. Again, that seems like a very good reason. Also, Twilight, did you forget that a threat was made to Canterlot, as Shining mentioned earlier in the episode? Maybe she could have forgotten it because she was more focused on trying to prove to everyone that Keynes is evil. The blow is when Shining tells Twilight that the wedding obviously was important to her and she should forget being his best mare, and for her to not bother showing up to the wedding. And wow, the acting is so good here, and so are the expressions. This scene is definitely so sad as we saw how close Shining and Twilight are, and now that Shining says something that is obviously not true. And I can relate to this when a friend I thought I could trust says something similar to me, except it's usually that someone lies to me more than once, and it's a very crushing blow to put up with and very difficult to get rid of too. Shining leaves and Twilight turns to her friends, obviously trying to see if they're going to side with her or not, considering they saw how rude Keynes was being. Nope. Applejack suggests they go check on Cadence, and I know she's the bride, but this is the practice ceremony, not the actual one. I understand that Cadence needs comforting, but you're not going to comfort your friend? The one you've known longer, and you've only known Cadence for, what, a day or two? So, if anything bad happens to Twilight and involves Cadence, don't say she expected it. Jeez, I gotta calm down. I almost forgot I'm in Canterlot, not my home because of that mob. And now the final blow is when Twilight tries to speak and Celestia walks past her telling her that she has a lot to think about. And wow, that really hurts. And the look on her face is just heartbreaking. Twilight thinks about what she did and sits on the steps. Then there's an, I guess, very short reprise of the song, and jeez, I had tears as soon as that moment happened. The feeling of losing someone close to you is extremely hurtful, especially during an argument or a misunderstanding. I've been through that, and it hurts like Tartarus very much that it took me a long time to finally heal from it, sort of. And Cadence is back and hold the f*** up! She just ran out of the room crying, and now suddenly she's better. Wow, it's been what, 2 minutes or something, and she's all better? If only I was able to recover that fast after crying. Cadence seems to give a sympathetic or a reassuring smile. Twilight apologizes to her for what happened, And sweet Luna, her eyes have gone green! Sign of imposter! Somebody stop her! Kin says Twilight will be sorry and surrounds her with green flames. Also, why is Twilight shocked here? Didn't she already suspect she was evil? I guess the argument would be when she was crying, she was changing her mind on hating Cadence and realizing she was wrong about what she did earlier. It's just a bit confusing because I expected her to try and fight back, but maybe because she's probably tired and still recovering, that she couldn't do it exactly, if that makes any sense. While Twilight is being pulled underground, Cadence walks away with a sinister smile, and the first part ends there.